is up, you guys? It's me, Subject Guru, and for today's video, we'll be learning a quick recap about fractions. Okay, so I'll be splitting this a quick recap into three parts. The first part, which is today's video, will be about all about fractions and addition in fractions. The second part will be about subtraction and multiplication in fractions. And the third part will be about division and BODMAS in fraction. Okay, so let's get on with today's video. So now, what is fractions? Well, fractions is the number of parts in a whole. So let us imagine this. Okay, so let's take a pie. Okay. So in this pie, this is one pie or one. Okay, it is not two or three, right? So what if we divide this pie into two? Then it has two pieces. Okay, it has two pieces of one whole, right? So for example, this half of the pie you have eaten and this half is uneaten. Okay, what is the total amount of pieces in the pie? Two. And what is the number of pieces which has been eaten in the pie? One, right? So the fraction of the number of pieces eaten from the pie will equal as 1 by 2, because the denominator, which is this is the denominator, and this is the numerator. Okay, and the denominator will be the total. It will be the total number of pieces, and the numerator will be the remaining amount of pieces of uneaten or eaten. Okay, it will be the amount of pieces. Okay, let me just erase this. So now we have learned that it is a fraction. So how can we represent a fraction? Well, a fraction is nothing but a number which is below another number which is divided by a half slab. Let's a horizontal slab. So let's take 2, okay, 2, and this 2 and 5. So this we can mean like this is going to be just examples of a number. So we can say this as a fraction by making it as 2 by 5, because it is divided by that. This is the half slab and this is the denominator as this is the numerator. Okay, so now we know what is a fraction. Now let's learn what are the different types of fraction. There is many types of fraction. Primarily the one which now the one I'm going to teach right now is there are many types of fractions which I will teach you all right now. So there is like fractions. Okay, now what is a like fraction? Well, a like fraction is a type of fraction which can be only identified if there is two or more fractions. It cannot be identified if there is a singular fraction. Like for example, we cannot say that 2 by 5 is a like fraction. So so we need a partner. So let's take 2, no, okay, not 2. Let's take 3 by 5. Now we can say that this is a like fraction. The reason why is a like fraction is a fraction whose denominators are the same. They will be equal. Even though the numerators are not same, the denominators will have to be same. Only then will they be a like fraction. Okay, now next let's see what is an unlike fraction. Okay, so let's it's same with like fractions. Unlike fractions are types of fractions which you cannot identify if there is only singular. So if there's only one of fractions, if there is two fractions, a pair of fractions, we can identify it needs to be two or more of the fractions. So let's take an example. 2 by 5. Okay, let's take 2 by, now we can say that this is an unlike fraction because an unlike fraction is a fraction whose denominators do not whose denominators do not equal each other. Okay, even though the numerators equal each other, that's why they're known as unlike fractions. Okay, let's just do a quick erase. Okay, now let's learn the other three types of fractions. The first one being proper fractions. Well, what is a proper fraction? Okay, this contrary to the like and unlike fraction, proper fractions do not need to have another fraction to find out whether they are a proper fraction. Meaning that we can identify if a fraction is a proper fraction even if there is only one fraction. Okay, so let's take this example. 2 by 4. We can say this is a proper fraction. Well, what is the difference? Is because a proper fraction is the type of fraction which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Now, if you're confused, we can use the crocodile mouth method. So let's take numerator here and the denominator, not in blue, and the denominator here, right? So according to the crocodile mouth method, in proper fractions, the denominator is larger than the numerator. This is in proper fractions. Okay, proper fractions. This applies only to proper fractions. Okay, let's erase this. Now we come across another type of fraction known as improper fraction, right? It is known as improper fraction. Great. So, what is the difference between an proper fraction and an improper fraction? Well, we will see. So, let's take another example. 5 by 3. Now, this is an improper fraction. A proper fraction and the improper fraction follow the same rule. It does not need it does not need two fractions to determine whether they are an improper fraction. So we can say this is an improper fraction because an improper fraction is a fraction whose whose numerator is larger than the denominator. Let's go back to the crocodile mouth method. So let's say numerator here and denominator here. According to improper fraction, the numerator will be the largest number. Okay, let's just erase this. Now, why are they known as improper fraction? I mean, like everybody must have had a question, right? So the reason why they're known as improper fraction is because, well, we know that the denominator is the total number of pieces and the numerator is the remaining pieces, right? Or the eaten amount of pieces. Let's imagine a galaxy chocolate bar, Milky Way galaxy, that chocolate bar. Now let's imagine in this scenario 1, 2, 3 pieces. Now this is the total amount of pieces, but out of which you have eaten 5 pieces, which means that there are two other pieces unaccounted for. So that's why they're improper. It's like you're having a Milky Way choco bar and you're eating like there's only 3 pieces in it, yet you eat 5 pieces out of it without even having two extra pieces there. It's like you're making something and eating. So yeah, that's why it is known as improper fraction. Let's just erase this. Okay, now we come to the next class of fractions known as mixed fractions. Okay, so what is in mixed fraction? So mixed fractions is pretty simple. It is like, for example, I give you an example here. This by 5. Now, why you may be thinking, why is there a natural number, sorry, a whole number, natural number, a whole number has its business doing here? What is its business? Well, a mixed fraction consists of a whole number and and a proper fraction. Okay, so you may be thinking, okay, so is there any way like we can simplify it? Yes, but the only way we can simplify this is to convert a mixed fraction into an improper fraction, right? So what do we do? So how to convert the mixed fraction into an improper fraction? You have to multiply the denominator with the whole number over here, the whole number, and then you get the result here, and then you add that result with the numerator. So the answer over here is 3 into 5, which is 15, plus 2 equals 17. So whatever result you get, you will have to add it as the numerator. So 17 by 5. The denominator will obviously need to be the same. Okay. We understood this. Well, then we can also convert improper fractions to mixed fractions. I will give you the at the end of how to convert improper fraction to mixed fractions the formulae on how to do it. Okay, because you will need to understand both methods. So let's take the same fraction there. 17 by 5. Now how do you do it? Well, what you need to do is we've learned that in mixed fraction that you uh, multiply and add it. In this you just gotta divide and subtract. So let's divide 5 by 17. So 17 divided by 5. Well, now we have to divide them. So what times 5 equals 17? Well, thing is 17 and for the 5 is not 17 is not in the table of 5. So what you do is you try to find the number which is the closest to 17 but is smaller than 17, which is in the table of 5. So 15 times 5. So 5 times the 5 1 equals 5, and then 5 times 2 equals 10, right? So then 5 times 3 equals 15. Then what do we do next? We can go further. We can go 5 times 4, which equals as 20. Now we need to find the smallest number which is closest to 17. So 20 is larger than 17, so you go for 15. So 5 times 3, I'll give you color, yeah, 5 times 3 equals minus 15. Minus 15, what does that equal as? That equals as 2. Now we leave it. Okay, we can of course go and multiply. We can of course just go and multiply these numbers and etc. And sorry, we can of course put a point here, add a 0 and make it into decimal, but that just defeats the purpose here. You need to find the numerator, the quotient, the denominator, as well as the whole number. So you don't do that. Okay, you don't do that. So I will give you the I'll give you color hints. So this equals as the um this equals as the remainder. Yes, this equals as the divisor. Yes, and this equals as the quotient. Yes. Now you may have already found out what would have been the answers, but for some people, I will explain it just in case. 3 equals the whole number. The divisor 5 equals as the denominator, and 2 equals as the numerator. So how do we so we can write this as 3 3 2 by not this is not oh god 3 2 by 5, right? Okay, so how now we got to know of it, but we need the formula. So I've devised this that so for mixed fractions you should the mixed fraction to improper fraction sorry the improper fraction to mixed fraction, what you do is you take so you add the quotient here. I mean, sorry. You put the quotient here, not there, and put the remainder up top. Then you put the divisor below. That's is the um uh that is the formula to convert improper fraction to mixed fraction. Let's just erase this. Okay, now let's go for addition and fraction. Okay. Okay. So now what is addition? Well, addition is the adding of two numbers together. So for example, you take, we all know that 1 plus 2 equals as 3, right? We also know that 2 plus 1 equals as 3. We know that 4 plus 5 equals as 9, and 5 plus 4 equals as 9. Okay, so now we can use addition and fractions in like fractions. The type of fractions is like. So how do we do it? It's very, 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 very simple. Okay, so let's just eh, okay. So what you do is you take, for example, let's say 2 by 4. Okay, you started with 2 by 4. No, not 2 by 4. 3 by 1 by. You started with 1 by 4. Okay. Now what is this equal? Well, in addition of fractions, you don't add the denominators and you don't add the numerators together. You don't do that. Well, instead, if the denominators are equal, they are the same, then you just add the numerators together. Like in the case of like fractions, you just add the numerators, which equals a 3 by 4. Right. Next, let's go with unlike fractions. Okay, so in unlike fractions, the denominators are unequal. So like for example 2 by 4 plus 2 by 5. Now what does this equal as? 2 by 4 and 2 by 5? Well, you will have to add you may think that you can just add the denominators and the numerators together, but no, you can't do that, because in this case the denominators are different, they're unequal. So what you do, you find the LCM of the denominators. So what is the LCM of the denominators? Well, the LCM of the denominators is 20. Now for reference, LCM is known as the least common multiple of the fractions, and which can be found out easily if two numbers which you're going to um, find the LCM of are um, are, are in the same table of one fraction. So you can easily find that. But if they are not in the same table as in this case, then you just multiply those two numbers. Okay, that's 2. Now, of course, we are now what we do, we have to convert the fractions according to the LCM. So the LCM. So you will have to convert the denominators into 20. So how many times 4 equals 20? How many times 4 equals 20? Which is 5, fortunately. So 4 times 5 equals 20. But what will happen to the 2? Well, it is another rule which states that if whatever number or whatever property that goes for the denominator will also and must be applied to the numerator. So um, if you multiply 2 as 4 into 5, then you'll have to multiply 4 or 2 also into 5. So that means 10 by 20, which is added by 5 into 4 equals 24 into 2 equals 8. So 8 by 20, which equals as 18 by 20, which of course we can simplify it more and it will be equal as 9 by 18. Okay, so now let's go for proper fractions. So a proper fraction is the where the numerators are lesser than the denominator, smaller than the denominator. Let's take 2 by 4 plus 2 by 4. Okay, and if we add them together, it's 4 by 4. Which there's another rule which states that any number by the same number, so x by x will equal as 1. So x by x, which is 4 by 4, equals as 1. There's also another rule which states that, for example, if x by 1, if like for example x by 1 will equal as x, and also x equals as x by 1. Okay, now let's go for improper fraction. So improper fraction we already know, so let's take a fraction 12 by 3 plus again let's take 5 by 3. What is this answer equal as? Then so 12 plus 5 equals as 17. So what will happen to the denominators then? Well, the denominators are same and the numerators are, though if they may be different. So since the denominators are same, you just add the numerators and you keep and the denominators remain same. So 17 by 3. Okay. So mixed fractions. Okay, let's take an example. 3 2 by 5. Yes, let's take that same example. Added by 3 added by 3 2 by 5. Okay, so now what should we do? Well, if you learn from previous classes, you will have to convert the mixed fractions into our proper fractions. So 3 2 by 5 equals as 17 by 5 plus 17 by, guessed it, 5. Now what does that equal as? Well, since the numerators are same, you can add the denominators together. So when we add the denominators together, then it will, sorry, since the denominators are same and numerators are same, you add the numerators together. So you add it like 17 plus 17 equals 34 by 5. And also it is good practice to um convert any improper fraction, like I have forgotten here, but you have to convert any improper fraction into mixed fraction. So how much times 5 equals 34? Since 34 isn't in the table of 5, you do it as, if you do the correct math, it is 6. So 5 times 6 equals as 30 and the remainder becomes the numerator. So 6 4 by 5. And for this number, the the mixed fraction will become as, so 3 times what equals to 17. Since 17 is not in the table of 3, we take the nearest closest and the smallest number next to 17, which is in the table of 3. So what times 3 equals 17? It's closest to 17. Well, 3 times 5 equals 15, which is closest to 17. Because if you go for 3 times 6, it becomes 18. So, you type it as 5, 2 by 3. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video, you guys. Subscribe and like for more videos. And if you have any doubts, well, put them in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.